video was made for informative purposes only. Panther48. 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 Panther48.
If you're not emotionally well, when those when those intuitions come, you're not able to process them and use them and make that emotional decision, a decision based on your emotion, which the emotion, just like logic, is a way of accessing. It's not the be all and end all. It's a way of accessing something else. Both of them, emotion and logic, are a means. It's like the key maker. They're not a mean and ends to themselves. They're keys to get to something else. You can look at music mathematically and appreciate the fuck out of it. You can listen to it and not know how to add 2 + 2 and still appreciate it because you're accessing the same thing 2 different ways. So that's why I say emotion and logic are on the opposite spectrum, because they're both just ways of accessing something of a higher realm, which is what this whole conversation started out as, is accessing something beyond. You say I get emotional because of the emotion things, because emotions are emotional. Logic, I'm gonna get real logic about it. Real logic. I can't get emotional about logic because logic is logic. It's just logic. It's like Stephen Hawking. He was passionate about physics. I ain't never hear him get hyped. Even when he could talk, he wasn't getting hyped, but I knew he was passionate about it because he would run down the logic of it and boom, 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 boom. I understood that's a logical interpretation of that passion, that inability or having not tapped into the emotional aspect. And let's be honest about it. The architect and the oracle, both of them were trying to access something greater. Both of them needed one another. And if we lean on logic more so than we do the emotional aspect of it, then we're essentially leaning on Western European thought and less on the African aspect of it.
And that's one thing I disagree with.
Because Africans, just like Khalid said, we are a people of information and inspiration. So we have to have both. Inspiration comes from the emotion. You can't reason being happy. You can't be logical about being angry. Angry don't get it. And angry ain't bad. I can't say that angry isn't negative, and how you deal with it can be negative, can be bad, can be whatever you want to call it. But let's face it, like that dude in American God said, angry gets shit done.
And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity?
When it's time, it's a time and place to be angry. So it's a positive emotion in that time. I don't really see any emotion as being negative. All of them are supposed to be here because they're part of our makeup. How we deal with them, yeah, it can be fucked up.
So why do you need guns with that much firepower?
Protection. It's dangerous out here.
Now, let me say this, and then I'm gonna have to get off this thing. Now, you say before we took over the conversation, we supposed to. And what you're supposed to do is, if you disagree, you're supposed to come in with that argument that we can't do your job. I'm not to argue. Hold on. I'm not to argue your point for you. You got to argue your point. Now, some of those things I agree with, and they worth thinking about. Some of those things I disagree 100% with. Like, I still disagree that music could exist without the math. I don't think nothing exists without the math. The math is the foundation of everything in existence, even if we don't see it. Being able to see the math is like when Neo in the Matrix stopped seeing the images and they actually start seeing the code.
Watch this.
The code is there. It's
Yang?
what produces the images.
Your ability
Yang, which came
do
first?
math
It's different. Your ability.
The math came first. The code produced the matrix. Neo saw the images first, just like you heard the music first. But once Neo got to a high stage of development, he gained the ability to see the code. And the code is what gave him the ability to manipulate the reality of the matrix. Why he gained the ability to fly and to stop bullets in time, because his ability to see the code and actually become one with that. That's what moved him to becoming the one.
What moved him to becoming the one, matter of fact, he was on top of that building and he started wrapping that helicopter cord around his arm, and Trinity said, what's he doing? And what
he started believing himself.
Starting to believe. Not reason, not rationalize, he's starting to believe.
Yeah.
Believe is not a process, is not a result of logic. He was buying into it with something beyond the logic.
Yeah. So what you saying? He getting emotional about it?
Morpheus, yeah. Because he started
to believe, because he was starting to have faith. Faith is something else. Faith is something else. Faith.
He saw a chopper going down with a woman he didn't realize consciously that he was falling in love with, but he moved without reasoning it out. He started wrapping it up. He didn't know he was the one. He didn't figure that shit out until after the fact. But he started rapping, fuck that, I gotta save her. He believed. He was emotional about it. And because he was emotional, it took him to the next level. He said, whoa, maybe I am, what the fuck? The oracles told you exactly what you needed to hear.
He started having faith. And see, faith is an active force.
Faith is not logic.
An active force, is power. But see, you using other things to argue against my logic when your argument is supposed to be emotion. We got to get off this phone, off this call.
Go. I know you got the book Meta. Go look
yes, I have it.
Go back.
I disagree with some things. He said he's powerful and he going off, but he gets some things wrong. Like he ascribes some things to the right brain. No, that's a Yana Van Zandt did that in her book. But sometimes they mess up. I think he got some things wrong, because what the problem is, I think he's too dedicated to placing logic as a Western thing. And when a person does that, they can't see it. They can't see the whole thing. He's in the meta. I got it right here. I got it somewhere. There it is. I got it over there. Yeah, I done ate it.
I got mine with me.
I ate this thing. I ate this thing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You understand? I done ate this thing. Yeah, I done ate this thing. I got this thing marked up, rolled up, and everything else. You know, so I liked it. I gained a lot of information from it. But the problem, what we make a mistake is, once we start categorizing things, we have made logic the property of Western thinking.
I think what I need to do at some point is
and logic is not the property of Western thinking.
On a mushroom trip.
Western thinkers would take something and they would cut it up, kind of like what he talked about with the brother Malik Ishmael. When he talked to brother Ishmael, the fact is, us and the Panthers was ideological errors of Malcolm X. The problem was one group took one section of Malcolm thinking and went that way and said, that's it. The other group took another section of Malcolm thinking and ran that away. The militancy, the gun clubs, things like this that Malcolm talked about, they went this way with it. The Afrocentricity and the Pan-Africanism and things like that, us went that way with it. And they had conflict with each other. You fools, you just divided the complete thought process into halves and ran the opposite directions and fighting each other about it.
Malcolm X's widow's life is on the line today and your guns weren't loaded.
A gun's a gun, man. It doesn't need to be loaded.
Tell that to the pigs, or better yet, tell that to Brother Malcolm.
You wait a second.
No, you wait a second. Because you and your punk Panthers are counter-revolutionary. You got three choices. One, you merge with us, you follow our rules. Two, you change your name. Or three, we annihilate your ass.
You listen, pretty ghetto boy. You're a long way from Oakland, and you're not Malcolm. Fuck you.
You're the kind of brother we don't need. You're the kind of brother that gets other brothers killed. You're gonna change your name. Bakar, tell him you'll do it. Tell him you'll do it.
Okay, but only for the revolution. Help me out. Move out! Move out! You okay? Move out! See? This is counter-revolutionary.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That part I agree.
That's what Europeans do.
Yeah.
So we can't ascribe logical thinking to them. They just took that part and took off with it.
Panther48. 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 True peace, Ken.